Okay, hi everybody. I didn't share the video out because I can't even get the crazy, whatchamacallit, thumbnail to load. It's showing the thumbnail from last night. I said, okay, big deal. Let's just go live because I don't know. There's a little bit of a. I do believe what's going on is that they're making a lot of hype about something that's, I don't know, they're not really going on, and I didn't show the video out at all. And let me just see here. Let me just try this. We're going to update. Sean is in court. They're saying that the defense lawyers are hugging, and we're going to go through that and just see. Someone said, call me, they said they heard a deadlock. I don't see a deadlock. Let me go over here and see what we've got here. All right, so the jury continuing deliberations. 1 minute ago, jury says they've reached a verdict on some of the counts. The jury sent a note at 4:05 p.m. that says we have reached a verdict at on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. We are unable to reach a verdict on count 1 as we have jurors with unpersuadable opinions on both sides. Sean Combs is seated in the courtroom. His lawyers are circled around him. They have expressions that are serious. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilio walked to the courtroom deputy, took the note, handed it to Sean. The note had a couple of lines written on it, and we're waiting to learn more about the latest note from the jury. So here's the latest. Again, 2 minutes ago, the jury says they've reached a verdict on some of the counts. The jury sent a note at 4:05 p.m. It says, we have reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. We are unable to reach a verdict on count 1 as we have jurors with unpersuadable opinions on both sides. Okay, let's see. I really wish I could change my thumbnail. I'm going to try it again, see if it'll let me do that so that I can share my video out. I don't want to share it out with the wrong thumbnail. But it's given me a freaking problem. Every time I go to doesn't want to let me do it. Okay. I wonder what's the deal with that, right? What is the deal with that it doesn't want to let me do that? So crazy. Okay, so I'm going to, let's see. Three minutes ago, the jury said they reached a verdict on some of the counts. Okay, there's your jury says they've reached a verdict on some of the counts. The jury sent a note at 4:05 p.m. that said, we have reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. We are unable to reach a verdict on count 1 as we have jurors with unpersuadable opinions on both sides. On both sides. Let's see. And again, as I said, Sean Combs is surrounded by his lawyers inside the courtroom. Prosecution and defense want the jury to continue deliberating. Both the prosecution and the defense want the judge to push the jury to continue deliberating. Sean Diddy Combs' lawyer, Mark Agnifilio, said the defense would like the judge to bring out the jury to instruct them to continue deliberating rather than sending them a note. They are going to work on the wording of that instruction. All right, so the news is there. Both the prosecution and defense want the judge to push the jury to continue deliberations. Absolutely. I'm pretty pissed that I can't change my thumbnail. Not happy about that at all. Not at all. Let me try to manually send this out here. So again, the jury says they've reached a verdict on some of the counts. The jury sent a note at 4:05 that says we've reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. We are unable to reach a verdict on count 1 as we have jurors with unpersuadable opinions. Both the prosecution and the defense want the judge to push the jury to continue deliberating. So what do you guys think? Let's put up a poll. I'm going to start a poll. I'm going to try to share this out because it sucks because it won't. I have to go and try to manually that shouldn't be the way it is. Okay. I don't know why that's doing that. It's not even, what the freak? Hold on a minute, guys. That's not even the stream. But there you can see the updates there. I'm going to put a poll up in just a second. I just want to grab this.
Very soon, I'll be closing the doors to my jewelry boutique forever.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
This is your last chance to own a piece of my...
I'm so sorry to hear that, ma'am. Okay, hold on. That's an ad on my video. I'm just going to try to change the thing one more time. One more time. It did this to me last night, and then I got it to work, but it doesn't want to work right now. It just wants to be a little jerk right now. So we're going to let it be a little jerk, and we're going to do it manually. Let me just throw this out manually. There we go. Sean Diddy Combs jury. Oh, shite. jury has reached a verdict on some of the counts, but are deadlocked on count 1. Okay? Let's do this. Diddy trial. Okay, so the Sean Diddy Combs jury has reached a verdict on all but the first count. They are deadlocked on the first count. They want to prosecution and defense wants them to continue their deliberations. So, see, on that one, I can add the thing. That's me add the. It's just so crazy. So let me just go over here to Diddy Deadlock. So what we're calling this, and post that. And let me share it over on the other channel. And then I'm going to share it over here. Diddy Deadlock. Okay. And let me just do it in Deadlock, and I just have to do it one other place. So sorry, it's a shame when I've got to do it manually like this, but the show must go on. Let me see if I can try to change it now. Change. Oh, I think I can now. Now I can change my thumbnail, of course, after I've done all but one share. All but one share, and I can change it. Beautiful. Okay. Alrighty. And let me just do the post over here, and then we'll get back to the live update.
I'm about to ruin the chemical.
Yeah, you're about to ruin what? What are you about to do?
Flea treatment industry with just one shocking.
Okay, we don't really care about that. There we go. Now we're done. All right. Hi, it's just me. What is the first count? That's what we're going to go do right now. It's just me. Let's see what we've got. Let me just get the latest right here. I've got all the shares out now. That's good. Jurors say they've reached a verdict on some of the counts. Jurors said they have reached, it's the racketeering. Count 1 is the racketeering conspiracy. So they've reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, but are unable to reach a verdict on count 1, the racketeering conspiracy. So the other counts that they've reached a verdict on are 2 counts of sex trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution. So what is that, though? Did they find him not guilty, or did they find him guilty on those? He said that they have, that they're let me see what he's, unpersuadable opinions on both sides. So we know on both sides, right? Unpersuadable on both sides. We have jurors with unpersuadable opinions on both sides. They can't get it together on the racketeering, but means they got it together on all the other counts. I don't know. That could mean what? What do you think? Let's take a poll. Do you think all the other counts are guilty or all the other counts are innocent? What do you think? Let's see. Let me start a poll. What do you think? The verdict is for counts 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, do you think it's guilty or not guilty? There's your poll. There's your poll. So let's see. This is crazy. Let's see if we have any other news here. Both the prosecution and the defense want the judge to push the jury to continue deliberations. He is surrounded by his lawyers inside the courtroom. Federal jury has reached a verdict. Wait a second. The jury sent a note they've reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, but are unable to reach a verdict on count 1, the racketeering conspiracy. Okay, and the jurors, you have a 57-year-old man, a 74-year-old woman, a 67-year-old man, a 39-year-old man, 43-year-old woman, 68-year-old man, 68-year-old man, 42-year-old woman, 30-year-old woman, 51-year-old man, 31-year-old man, 69-year-old man. They want the jury to go back and so I'm not saying 8 minutes ago, we still have that. It's the count 1, the racketeering conspiracy that they have not reached the verdict on. They say they have jurors with unpersuadable opinions on both sides. So the poll there asks you if you think the counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, yeah, well, they've reached a verdict on 2, 3, 4, and 5, Philly. They just haven't reached a verdict on the racketeering conspiracy. They say that they have jurors on both sides of it with unpersuadable opinions. Now, do you think the other charges that they've reached verdicts on are guilty or not guilty? And 100% of you said you think guilty. I don't know. Because if they reached guilty on sex trafficking and where's the other one? Let me see. I don't want to misspeak here. Conspiracy, 2 counts each of sex trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution. So if they've found him guilty on those, and somebody's holding out that the racketeering conspiracy, he's innocent, or did they find him not guilty on all of those counts, but they're trying to find him guilty on the racketeering. I don't know. I'm really not even gonna venture to call that. I don't know. Sean Combs is seated in the courtroom. His lawyers are encircled around him. Their expressions are serious. Jurors said they have reached a verdict on 4 of 5 counts, but they are unable to reach the verdict on count 1, which is the racketeering conspiracy. Both prosecutors and the defense attorney said they want the judge, hey, push the jury to continue deliberating. In the note that they sent to the judge, the jurors wrote, "We have jurors with unpersuadable opinions on both sides." Both sides. And it is almost 5 o'clock p.m. Juror number 2 is a 69-year-old man who works as a massage therapist in Manhattan. He has a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Acting from NYU. Juror 5 is the 31-year-old man who works as an investment analyst. His hobbies include golf, tennis, and video games, and he's described as an active churchgoer. Juror number 25 is a 51-year-old man who works as a scientist and lives in Manhattan with his domestic partner. Juror number 28 is a 30-year-old woman who lives in the Bronx with her mother and brother. She works as a deli clerk at a grocery store. Juror number 55 is a 42-year-old woman who lives in Manhattan with her fiancé. She works at a nursing home and said she is not a fan of news. Juror number 75 is a 68-year-old man who's retired and previously worked in finance. He lives in Westchester County with his wife and said he listens to old Indian music and likes to play cricket and volleyball. Juror number 116 is a 68-year-old man who lives in Westchester County with his wife and kids. He is a retired lineman. Every time I hear the word lineman, I can't help but think about Glenn Campbell. He is a lineman for the county. Okay. All right. Now, sorry. I can't. Somebody says lineman, and that is exactly where my mind goes. Juror number 160 is a 43-year-old woman who is a physician's assistant and works with elderly patients. She lives in Westchester County with her husband and kids. Juror number 184 is a 39-year-old man who lives in the Bronx with his brother. He is a social work programming supervisor and part-time security guard who has a master's degree in social work. Juror number 201 is a 67-year-old man who has 2 adult children and works as a logistics analyst. He lives alone in Westchester. Sounds like dating profiles, right? Juror number 217 is a 74-year-old woman. She enjoys long walks on the beach, an occasional pina colada, and loves to watch the sunset. Okay, no, that's it. Juror number 217 is a 74-year-old woman who works as a treatment coordinator and has a bachelor's degree in sociology. She lives alone in Manhattan, and she does not have children. Do you think she has cats? Probably a good guess. Juror number 230 is a 57-year-old man who works as a manufacturing architect and has a master's degree in mechanical engineering. He lives with his wife and kids in Westchester County. The juror started as an alternate and replaced the juror who was dismissed over those inconsistencies about where he lived. Okay, let's see if there's any more news here. Okay, jurors in the sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy trial of Sean Diddy Combs have notified the court that they have reached a verdict on all counts, but are unable to reach a verdict on count 1. A verdict on count 1. Count 1 is the racketeering conspiracy. Count 2 is sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and it pertains to victim number 1, Cassie Ventura. Count number 3 is transportation to engage in prostitution. It pertains to victim 1, Cassie Ventura, and commercial sex workers. Count 4, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, pertains to victim 2, Jane. Count 5, transportation to engage in prostitution, pertains to victim 2, Jane, and commercial sex workers. So they've reached a verdict in 2, 3, 4, and 5, cannot reach it on the racketeering conspiracy. They say they have jurors with unpersuadable opinions on both sides. So, not sure. Count 1 carries the heaviest penalty, with a maximum sentence of life in prison. Counts 2 and 4 have a minimum sentence of 15 years and a maximum of life in prison. Counts 3 and 5 each carry a maximum sentence of 10 years. So in that case, when you're having this heaviest penalty with that racketeering charge, if they've already said guilty on those 4 other counts, I don't know. But if they said not guilty, both the prosecution and defense have indicated they want the judge to push the jury to continue deliberation. Now, here we go. We got some more information, guys. Mark Agnifilio said the defense prefers the judge bring the jury out to instruct them in person rather than sending them a note. The parties are going to work on the wording of that instruction. All right. But it's just 1 minute. No, it's 5:04 now. 5:04. So are they going to dismiss them? Have them come back in the morning? What are they going to do? I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Diddy case is a nail biter for the prosecution. Real possibility of a split verdict, according to an expert. Jury has reached a verdict on 2, 3, 4, 5. They have not reached a verdict on charge 1. Now, some media outlets are saying that the jury says they've reached a verdict on that's a miss. That's a miss. So they put 4 and 5 instead of 4 of 5. Okay, the judge is now addressing both sides. He's addressing their proposals. He's back on the bench, and he's addressing both prosecutors and defense attorneys' proposals on how to move forward. The prosecution has asked for a modified Allen charge. The defense says it's too early for that, and they seem to want more gentle language. An Allen charge is a set of instructions that asks jurors to re-examine their own views and opinions in order to reach a decision. So we will see on where that's going, right? So if they can't come together on that 1 count, will it be a hung jury? I don't know. They're saying split verdict. So let's see what's going to happen on that. Didn't we have a case like this recently where there was 1 count and then they put them back, and it wasn't Karen Reed. I'm just not Hi, cute kitty kitty. How are you? So now 85% of you are saying that you believe the 4 counts that they have reached a verdict on, that they're guilty, is what you're saying there in that poll. Okay. Wow. You know, let's see. I'm going to go back to that. See if we can get some. So just in case you're just joining us, the Sean Diddy Combs jurors have reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. But they cannot reach a verdict on count 1. And they say that they have jurors with unpersuadable opinions on both sides. And the prosecution and the defense wants the judge to push the jury to go back and deliberate. The judge is on the bench now, is addressing both the prosecutors and the defense attorney's proposals. The prosecution has asked for a modified Allen charge. And the defense says it's too early for that. They want more gentle language. An Allen charge is a set of instructions that ask jurors to re-examine their own views and opinions in order to reach a decision. An Allen charge. And that count 1 is the racketeering charge, and that's where they are struggling. So I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to send them home for the end of the day? Are they going to let them deliberate a couple of hours and see if they can reach that verdict? I don't know. I don't see any other news right there on. Let's see. An Allen charge is also known as a dynamite charge. It is a supplemental jury instruction that's given in some jurisdictions when a jury is unable to reach a unanimous verdict, which is a hung jury. The charge encourages jurors to reconsider their positions and try to reach an agreement, but not at the expense of their conscientiously held beliefs. It's a controversial practice as it can be seen as putting undue pressure on jurors to abandon their views, particularly those in the minority. The primary purpose of an Allen charge is to help a deadlocked jury overcome their impasse and reach a verdict, thereby avoiding a mistrial. It urges jurors to re-examine their opinions and consider the perspective of other jurors, especially if there is a significant majority on one side. By encouraging jurors to find common ground, the charge aims to reduce the number of cases requiring a new trial. Judges often emphasize the importance of a unanimous verdict and the resources required for a new trial. The charge encourages minority jurors to carefully consider the views of the majority and whether their doubts are reasonable. Crucially, the charge also states that no juror should abandon a sincerely held belief. But critics argue that the Allen charges can exert undue pressure on jurors, particularly the ones that are in the minority, leading to coerced verdicts. Some believe it disproportionately influences jurors to favor the majority opinion, potentially undermining the principle of reasonable doubt. Okay. The specific wording of Allen charges can vary, with some being more forceful, like the dynamite charge, than others. Well, the Allen charge originated from a Supreme Court case. It's not binding on state courts. Some states have banned Allen charges altogether, while others have adopted similar jury instructions with variations in the wording and application. Okay, let's see if they have any more news now that we've gone over the Allen charge. All right, let's see. Okay, so the judge says that simply telling the jury to keep deliberating would be non-responsive. Judge Aaron Submarinian said the lawyers are discussing how they will respond to the jury's note that they are unable to reach a verdict on one of 5 counts against Sean Diddy Combs. The judge said, "There's not much there," and that's in response to the defense team's proposed instruction. He said simply telling the jury to keep deliberating would be non-responsive to the note expressing unpersuadable opinions as to count 1. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilio thinks that the jury has been productive and efficient, so they don't need much encouragement to continue deliberating. Submarinian said the government's proposal isn't really an Allen charge, but essentially reiterates the section of the jury instructions regarding the duty to deliberate. An Allen charge is a set of instructions that ask jurors to re-examine their own views and opinions in order to reach a decision. But I don't know if the defense is pushing that. That kind of makes it seem to me that the defense thinks the other 4 counts are not guilty. Because if the defense thought, hi Denise, if the defense thought those other 4 counts that the jury reached were guilty, well, they would push and let it go to a mistrial, right? Instead of pushing the jury to keep deliberating. That's what I think. Hold on a minute. Guys, I've got to get something. I have a headache. Hang on a minute. There's a bad storm, and I think like the pressure and stuff is... Hold on. Jimmy moved my ibuprofen. It's sneaky. Oh, here it is. Oh, thank goodness. Thank you. Thank you. Without ibuprofen, I need this ibuprofen so badly. Okay. Probably need another cup of coffee too, but I will come over there. Hold on a moment. Hold on a moment. Okay. So, buttons on a shirt. I'm so excited. Okay. All right. Let's take a look if there's anything else. Oh. What does she mean it's been still? You can't hear me? Hold on a minute. Denise is saying you can't hear me? Hold on. You can't hear me, guys? You've got to be kidding me. Yes, you can hear me. Denise, you can't hear me, guys? Denise, you have to go out and come back in because I'm checking YouTube and you've got to be kidding me. You have to go out and come back in. Let me tell you. You have to go out and come back in. They have a verdict, Scooter, on 4 of the 5 counts. But they're deadlocked on the first count, which is the racketeering. Did you hear me, Scooter? They're deadlocked on count 1. Okay? It's just the racketeering. They have reached a verdict on the 4 other counts. All right. 82% said that they think the other counts are guilty. Now, hold on a minute. I'm getting a call. Okay, hang on a minute. I'll be right there. I'm just going to mute for a second. I'm on the call. Okay, hi, I'm here. Yeah, okay, Jimmy, I love you too. Okay, I'm here, guys. Let me I know I don't want to do that. Hold on a minute, guys. I got to do something real fast here. Just hang on. Okay. All right, guys. All right, sorry about that. My husband is constantly asking me to do things here. All right, I think I got that. All right, let me see, make sure that I have that. And let me make sure that, let's hold on one second, guys, okay? I just have to see something because, all right, it looks like it's okay. All right, let's hope so. I had to fix something. All right, he used the wrong account for something that, hey, Bridget, oh my gosh. FAFO, because I ain't playing. Bridget's not playing. Okay, Bridget. Hoping for a guilty on all, but they had them go back. But now, did they? I have to see if they're going to send them home now because it's after 5 o'clock here in New York. And then they wanted them to do that Allen charge, which has them look at their personal beliefs in regards to the verdict to try to get a verdict. And I think if the defense is pushing, that I would think that the defense would think that the other counts are not guilty, wouldn't you? I don't know. If they thought they were guilty, why would you push? Because if they push, then they're going to come with a guilty, probably a guilty. I don't know. They must think that it's not. Let's see what's going on. Oh, the jury has left the courtroom. So they're still going to deliberate. Okay? So the judge said, he asked the jury to continue deliberating, saying they have reached a verdict in 4 of the 5 counts. He said, received your note that you reached a verdict on verdicts 2 to 5, but not on count 1. I ask at this time that you keep deliberating. He told them to return to the jury room and send a note if they want to end deliberations for the day. So right now, the jury left the courtroom and the judge said he's going to sit on the bench because they might get a note in the next few minutes. So we'll wait. They're either going to send a note that they've reached a verdict, which is exciting, if they have, right? Or that they're going to go home. They should say, get us dinner and we'll deliberate till 9 o'clock. let's see here. See what you guys are saying. So, Bridget's got some stuff to say. Bridget says they're hoping for a mistrial. YouTube treats are wild, so I added this to my name so we know who I am. Hi, Isabel. I worry that some may be paid off. Well, yeah, that's what Binky was talking to me earlier, and she said, oh my gosh, Carolyn, I think that they paid off some of them. Oh, that's Julie. Okay. Let me just tell him. Hi, I'm live with Diddy. Okay. All right, love you. Bye. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, a lot of people are worried that they may be paid off because they put a lot of information about the jurors, okay? You know, how old somebody is. Oh my gosh, Lady Elaine. That's so good to see you, Lady Elaine. I'm seeing so many people in the last few days that I haven't seen in ages. Where have you been? I've missed you. I hope it's today too. I want it to be today. I want us all to be here. Right here today, together. Let me see. I'm gonna do a refresh and see if there's any update on the last update. Okay, they said that, oh no, the jury dismissed. We're not getting it. They're leaving the courtroom. Jury is dismissed. In dismissing the jury for today, the judge said he won't bring them out in the morning and they can get started when they all arrived. They're leaving the courtroom. The jury sent a note advising it's going to continue deliberations tomorrow. Crappity crap, right? That's a bunch of crap. And here's a view outside the courtroom. It's raining down there. Yeah. That's not good. Now, that says it's going to be at least till tomorrow. And what do you think now? Now maybe somebody really will get paid off. I bet they'll find out what those verdicts are. Someone's going to have loose lips. You know they do. And I think it's pretty easy to find out who the jurors are. At least some of them. With social media and everything today. And I know they're not supposed to be on it. But people don't follow the rules today. And people talk a lot. Okay, so we say what? Let me go to the chat and see what you're saying. You bet sitting on it overnight may get people to push over and agree on the first charge. They were constantly pushing stories on the jury, and that's when you know they have no defense. I'm always a rambler. I love that you're always a rambler, Lady Elaine. Appreciate that. I'm glad to see you. So what do you think now? 81% say they think the rest of the charges are guilty. I don't know why. I'm having a freak out. ultimately, unfortunately, if you have the money, you can get away with anything. And apparently, we don't care if they do illegal things to get what they want. That's a federal courthouse, folks. Yeah, that is a federal courthouse. Who here has been inside a federal courthouse in New York? Have any of you been inside a federal courthouse in New York? Anyone? Anyone been inside a federal courthouse in New York? This federal courthouse is in Manhattan. But ironically, the federal courthouse in White Plains, New York, handles a lot of the Manhattan cases. Did you know that? Scooter's never been inside a federal courthouse in New York. Bridget says she trusts no one nowadays. No, and I'm afraid, no, not me, and I'm sure I would be so nervous. A federal courthouse in New York can be very, very intimidating. Even to attorneys. Yep. Scooter said she'd be shaking in her boots. So, I mean, it really does seem like they're working like on a television schedule, right? Leaving the cliffhanger, right? Same bat time, same bat channel, guys. We'll go through the verdict. It's just done. Now, as for Brian Kohberger, he's having a hearing tomorrow. And I can only imagine that the prosecutor is Comey, so I would be even more weighed down on that. Yeah. But look at all those people out there in the rain. So I think that the Gonsalves family is really making it known how upset they are about this plea deal. Now, tomorrow will be at the court hearing where he's supposed to change his plea. And let's take a look at Kohberger just while we're here to see the new developments that have happened. Okay. So we heard last night the family is beyond furious. We read the statements of Aubrey Gonsalves, and we read the statements from the Coronado family, and we read the statements from the Gonsalves family.
Introducing new Metamucil Super Greens Digestive Blend.
I hate these ads that pop up. Okay, let me just get a graphic here so we can go on to Brian Kohberger while we're waiting, because there's nothing that's going to happen with Diddy until tomorrow. We can sit here and discuss it crazy, which we can later, but let me put up Kohberger and just get the latest on that while we're here. Okay. I'm just looking at anything new that's come up because... All right, let's look at this now. Okay, the family of Ethan Chapin supports the deal. See, that's what I thought was the case. Their spokesperson, Christina Teves, spoke on Tuesday, and attorney Leander James, who represents Madison Mogen's mother and stepfather, declined to give their view, but said he would deliver a statement on their behalf after Wednesday's hearing. Madison Mogen's father, Ben Mogen, said he was relieved by the agreement. He says, and I quote, "We can actually put this behind us and not have these future dates and future things that we don't want to have to be at, that we shouldn't have to be at, that have to do with this terrible person. We've got to just think about the rest of our lives and have to try and figure out how to do it without Maddie and the rest of the kids." But on the other hand, the Gonsalves family was enraged, and they posted statements on Facebook criticizing the plea deal and urging any supporters who feel called or moved to try to make a difference to contact the Ada County Courthouse. It says, "We are beyond furious at the state of Idaho. They have failed us." In another post on Tuesday, they said, "We stand strong that it is not over until a plea is accepted. We will not stop fighting for the life that was stolen unjustly. At a bare minimum, please require a full confession, full accountability, location of the murder weapon, confirmation the defendant acted alone, and the true facts of what happened that night. We deserve to know when the beginning of the end was." Yeah, but unfortunately, these guys are never going to give it to you. The family spoke with the prosecution on Friday about the idea of a plea deal and said they were firmly against it. By Sunday, they received an email that sent us scrambling and met with the prosecution on Monday to explain their views about pushing for the death penalty. Brian Kohberger facing a life in prison means he would still get to speak, still get to form relationships and engage with the world. And that was Aubrey Gonsalves, the 18-year-old sister of Kaylee Gonsalves, that said that. Meanwhile, our loved ones have been silenced forever. The reality stings more deeply when it feels like the system is protecting his future more than honoring the victim's pasts. The plea agreement must be approved by the judge. In Idaho, judges may reject plea agreements, though such moves are rare. If Kohberger pleads guilty on Wednesday as expected, he would likely be sentenced in late July. His trial was set for August in Boise, and it was moved there following pretrial publicity in rural northern Idaho. At the time of the murders, Kohberger was a criminal justice graduate student at Washington State University, which was about 9 miles west of the University of Idaho. He was arrested in Pennsylvania, where his parents lived, weeks later. Investigators say they matched his DNA to the genetic material that was recovered from a knife sheath that was left at the crime scene. Okay. No motive has emerged for the murders, nor is it clear why the attacker spared 2 roommates who were in the home. Authorities have said that cell phone data and surveillance video shows that Kohberger visited the victim's neighborhood at least a dozen times before the murders. In a court filing, Kohberger's lawyer said he was on a long drive by himself around the time the 4 were killed. Last week, the judge rejected an effort by the defense team to suggest at trial that any one of 4 other suspects could have committed the crimes, ruling that the evidence offered to support that theory was entirely irrelevant. Nothing links these individuals to the homicides or otherwise gives rise to reasonable inference that they committed the crime. Indeed, it would take nothing short of rank speculation by the jury to make such a finding, Hippler wrote. So, the Chapins are in agreement with the plea deal. And so is Madison Mogen's father. So, let's see. Please 2 people, and it displaced 2 families, right? Grieving family of 21-year-old Kaylee Gonzalez spent weeks waiting for an arrest for her murderer. Since then, they and relatives of the 3 other University of Idaho students who were fatally stabbed in November of 2022 endured a legal process that has been punctuated by delay after delay, and now a month before Brian Kohberger's murder trial was set to begin, the wait for justice is poised to end in what one Gonzalez family member called a shocking and cruel plea deal that would remove the possibility of the death penalty. After more than 2 years, this is how it concludes, with a secretive deal and a hurried effort to close the case without any input from the victims' families on the plea deals. The Gonzalez family made that statement, and that was shared with CNN. The plea deal would bring an abrupt end to a case that has captured national attention since the 4 brutal murders rocked the small college town of Moscow, Idaho. Brian Kohberger, 30-year-old former Ph.D. student of criminology at nearby Washington State University, was charged in January of 2023 with fatally stabbing Gonzalez, Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, and Madison Mogen. Under the deal, Kohberger will plead guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder in exchange for the government dropping the death penalty. He also has to do something on the burglary. Gonzalez family attorney Shannon Gray confirmed the deal, which has reached out to the families of Chapin, Kernodle, and Mogen about the pending agreement. "This isn't what we should be doing," Kaylee's father, Steve Gonzalez, said. "You don't deal with terrorists, and you don't deal with people who kill your kids in their sleep, so we'll never see this as justice." A hearing in the case is scheduled for Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in front of Judge Stephen Hippler. It will deal with the plea agreement. The Gonzalez family has asked prosecutors to delay Wednesday's hearing to give them more time to get to Boise. But Hippler, no, I don't think he... Jury selection for Kohberger's murder trial was set to begin August 4th. The Gonzalez family wasn't even called about the plea, merely received an email with a letter attached, they said in a social media post. The letter sent to the victims' families from Moscow, prosecuting attorney Bill Thompson, indicates Kohberger will likely be sentenced to life in prison if he pleads guilty, and the deal requires him to waive his right to appeal. Still, Gonzalez family blasted the prosecutor's very unexpected decision, writing a short social media post that "We are beyond furious at the state of Idaho. They have failed us." By contrast, Madison Mogen's father is choosing acceptance, saying the plea agreement would let his family avoid a trial and allow its wounds to keep healing. If Kohberger was given a death sentence, he wouldn't have to spend decades thinking about how terrible he made the world, Mogen told CBS Mornings. We can actually put this behind us and not have these future dates and future things that we don't want to have to be at, that we shouldn't have to be at, and that have to do with this terrible person. We can just think about the rest of our lives and how to try and figure out how to do it without Maddie and without the rest of the kids. Thompson's office could not comment on any news of the plea deal because of the wide-ranging gag order in the case. In the letter to the Gonsalves family, the prosecutor defended the deal as our sincere attempt to seek justice for your family, arguing it will ensure that Kohberger will spend the rest of his life in prison. In a lengthier statement that was posted by Kayleigh's sister Aubrey, she took issue with the suddenness of the deal and after a painful, long legal process, calling it both shocking and cruel to bring it to the families just weeks before the scheduled trial. Had this proposal come a year and a half ago, the families could have had time to process, discuss, and potentially come to terms with the idea of a life sentence, however difficult that may be. The Gonsalves family is not asking for vengeance, Aubrey wrote, but considers the possibility of life in prison an unfair outcome. Brian Kohberger facing a life in prison means he would still get to speak, form relationships, and engage with the world. Meanwhile, our loved ones have been silenced forever. The possibility of the death penalty has loomed large over the proceedings, with Kohberger's defense team repeatedly arguing for it to be taken off the table. We all know he's guilty, Steve Gonsalves said. There's more than enough evidence, but it's tough to put a community through this, and it could be bad for reputations and business identities, and there's fallout. But this isn't the will of the victims. This is just one person making a decision, and it doesn't reflect what we're asking for. Last year, the Gonsalves family expressed its frustration at the repeated delays, saying the case had turned into a hamster wheel of motions, hearings, and delayed decisions. Okay, so, yeah, that's what's up there with that. But anyway, what was I going to say to you guys? I had something to say. It's absolutely devastating. But also, what is that? Calm down, Bridget. This trial is so hard for the family. I just don't think that they can see that right now. And this guy would do appeal after appeal, stretching this out longer for them. Yeah. She told you to suck it. I have to have some fun with you. It's been too long. Hey, that's the only way to roll. Gotta have fun when the topics are so hard. Yeah, absolutely. There was something I was going to tell you guys. What was it? What was I going to tell you? Oh my gosh. What was I going to tell you? What was I going to tell you? Oh my gosh. I don't know what I was going to tell you. That's crazy. Let me shut this poll and this poll. I was going to tell you something, and I don't know what it was now. But that's it for that, guys. I will talk to you later. I love you guys. It was great to see you, Bridget. It was great to see you, Lady Elaine. It's so nice to see so many of our old faithfuls here in the flesh, in the chat. It's lovely. Let me just see one thing before we go. One little tiny thing before we go. Okay. That's what I wanted to see. Anyway, Maureen Gunn, thank you for that nice comment 8 minutes ago. Appreciate that. Okay, so I'll see you later. I don't know. I might do some sewing later. I have been saying this for freaking days and days and days. I want to do some sewing. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do now. I just took 2 ibuprofen. I'm going to sit down, put my head back. I'm going to get a nice hot cup of coffee and let it do its magic. And maybe we'll do sewings and crafts and have a panel and have people come on and talk and have fun. Maybe. We'll see, okay? We'll see how the weather's. That's what I think I would like to do. I can't believe it's 5:48 already. All right. But I love you guys, and I'd like to do that. That's fun to do that. Great to be here, Bridget. Yeah. Hi, Little Brittle. Hi, Little Brittle. Little Brittle's a new listener. We like you, Little Brittle. Thank you. And I love your name, Little Brittle, because you remind me a little bit of Peanut Brittle. And I just think you're crackly and crunchy. But I don't want to crack you in half. Okay? As tempting as that may be, I'll just leave you there. Not crack you in half like you would some Brittle. Even though you're Little Brittle. It's a nice name. But Little Brittle, maybe come by and see us later. Count 1 is tricky. It's the racketeering, right? It's the one that carries the most weight to it. All right. But I will see everybody later. Be good. God bless. And thanks for watching. Love you guys. Peace out.